Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. The rest of my cast, Alex Schaefer, Amy Ryan, Paul Giamatti, and also my co-writer, Joe Taboni. Anybody else back there? My music supervisor, Mary Ramos, is out here somewhere, but she was afraid to come up, and all the music's hers, including that last great song by The National.
The last song really sticks with you, is that?
Yeah, you know, Mary and I were talking about it a lot, and I was listening to their music a lot, and it felt tonally it was the right way to end, and she reached out to the band, because she's way more bold than I am, and they were very cool. They were on tours, you know, with their great new album, and they happened to be in New York on 3 days, and they came in and watched the movie in the edit room, and they were like, okay, you know we're from Ohio, right? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, all right, we got to do this. And they went away and sent this great song, and it just it was really great, because it actually serves as score. There's even like a deconstruction version of the melody on the courthouse scene. And then as we get into the croquet, that song starts and serves as score, and then obviously turns into the end credits song. So we're very grateful for them.
Great. Well, let's start with questions. Who's got a good one? Right here, RC.
This is for the very awesome Paul Giamatti. In your films, we've seen you train boxers and coach wrestling. If you could coach any team in real life, any sport in real life.
Bobsled. I love bobsled. Bobsled's fucking great. I'd like to do it. And then coach it.
You know, there's like 5 guys out here. It's like, we're making a bobsled movie. Like, it's happening.
Bobsled picture next.
Right here.
This question's for Tom, and I guess for Joe as well. Tom, in all of your movies, there's this sort of area of specialized knowledge in Stage Nation. It was about the trains and the visitor, the immigration stuff. And this, the wrestling and the sort of family law. I'm wondering how much research you do for this stuff, and do you feel like you got it all right, or are there things you had to sort of cheat for the purposes of the story, or?
Oh yeah, as you can probably tell. Oh, sorry. You don't have to yell at me. I'm kidding. It did freak me out, though. I thought it was the sniper. I was a little jittery from that announcement earlier. It stuck with me. Couldn't even eat my dinner. He said, he mentioned the specialized subject matters, train watching and detention. That sounds odd. And in this case, wrestling, and how do I research that and jump in. More or less, I mean, as you can probably tell by looking at us, Joe and myself, we were both very good wrestlers in high school. And we actually did. We grew up together. We wrestled on the same team. We were not that good, actually, at all. Unlike Alex here, who, in case you don't know, 2 weeks after we cast him, he won a state championship in New Jersey. So I felt like I understood the world of wrestling, but we did jump back into it. We spent about 1.5 years going to practices, matches, tournaments. I mean, it was like incredibly unhealthy how into it we got. And then, of course, when we hired Alex, it just sort of, everything I had laid in there, he just sort of brought, you know, a whole new level to it, just because his sort of wrestling IQ is much higher than ours. So all those moves you see, everything you see doing, he was working with our stunt coordinators who were also both wrestlers to kind of make that as real as possible. In terms of the elder law, Joe Taboni, elder law attorney here. So, come on, who's an elder lawyer out there? Let's hear it. Is there actually one elder lawyer in this house? No? Okay. My friends. But he was incredibly helpful in that, you know. It's obviously I know nothing about it, and so I relied on him a lot for that storyline.
And in the balcony right here.
Yeah, it was a beautiful film. Excellent job. This question's for Tom. Just the subject matter of foster and kind of adoption that was kind of underwritten there. Is there any specific genesis for that?
The question was about the subject of foster children. Was there a genesis for that story?
We talked a lot about it, obviously, legally, from a legal perspective, and also what that meant for this young man and what kind of legal understanding and ramifications there would be. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we vetted everything and felt like it was at a point in the story where there's a lot more to deal with as the story goes on after this moment. But right now, as I think about, on some level, certainly by the end of the story for Paul's character, it's about protecting this young man in the best way he knew how and trying to make right. So, sure. Thank you.
Right there.
Wonderful, wonderful film. For the cast and guys too, there's a lot of really great non-verbal moments in this film. How much of that was baked in, and how much of that just came because of like the great chemistry that as a cast you guys all have?
The question was about all the wonderful non-verbal moments between all the cast, and was that just chemistry, or was that in the script, or?
Amy Ryan.
I think a lot of it was in the script. Although I am proud I have good chemistry with this man. But yeah, I think also Tom's confidence as a filmmaker, he leaves that room for that nuance and breadth and moments of humor. He doesn't cut away quick. And also he let us rehearse for about 2 weeks, which is unusual in film, but really helped build this family unit. So.
Right, I'm gonna deep back there. Let's leave you guys out. Right here.
I didn't have so much of a question, but more of a comment. I liked how all the characters were identifiable. There was no despicable character at lunch, like nobody that you hated, you didn't identify with. I love movies that have characters that no matter who it is, no matter what gender or anything like that, you can always identify with them and see from their perspective. So I just wanted to thank myself.
He just said a very nice thing about how every character in this movie is easily identifiable with somebody that you can relate to and you can feel for and empathize with, and it's not, no one is a villain, which is a really unusual thing in a film. So, that was a nice comment. Who's got another question? Back here.
Question for Paul. I was wondering, are you still involved with the Bubba Nosferatu project, or is that still going to happen at some point?
Bubba Nosferatu for Paul.
That's a big Elvis Presley vampire picture that I'm involved with. It's going to be big. Yeah, I mean, I've tried to get that made for a while now, and nobody's biting. So. But do you have any money to put behind it? Anybody? If we could pass a hat in here. It's a really good script. I am still. I did another movie with that guy called John Dies at the End this summer. So, right on. That's amazing. It's shit. So, anyway, hopefully someday we get that made.
Down in the balcony. Just gotta go way up there.
So I'm a huge Jeffrey Tambor fan. Arrested Development, right? So I was wondering if there's an edit of this film that was made at some point that had more of him in it.
Question was, more Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah, we cut the shower scene. Just seemed indulgent, and I don't know, it just felt weird, him in there with the whole team shower. Anyway, DVD extras, buddy, coming at you.
We got time for 2 more. One here.
I'm just curious if you wrote, Tom, the script with the actors in mind, or what your casting process was.
The question was about the casting process for Tom.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wrote it very specifically with a lot of these guys in mind. I think Amy, for some reason, was the first person I had in mind for that character. As I was writing, I just heard her voice. We've known each other for a long time. And the same eventually with Paul and Bobby, too. I just kept hearing and hearing and hearing. I kind of had to finish the script to kind of see how it all fit together. But those 3 guys I just handed scripts to. And then everybody else I kind of had to track down. But it was pretty quick, you know. Burt Young, we just thought about him one night, and so great. We went out to his place, and I knocked on the door, and he opened it and grabbed me and kissed me really hard. I thought I had to offer him the role at that point. And then there was some looking, you know. Melanie Linsky she was someone I had seen in a lot of things, in so many things, but I hadn't thought of her in this way. And it's a great lesson for actors, because here's a woman who works all the time. We have the same agent, Rhonda Price, and Rhonda kept saying, use Melanie. She never pushes, but she was like, I think she's really right. And I was like, I just don't see it. And then to Melanie's credit, she just put herself on audition, put herself on tape and sent it to me, and just killed me with it, and had all these qualities that I really loved about the character. So that was that. And a lot of the others just going out and finding Margot Martindale and Tambor and I sat down. Tambor and I had a funny story. We met in LA at the Four Seasons because I was there. I was staying there for a night and he was there. I was like, let's have breakfast, and we had breakfast, and then we both had to run. And about 3 weeks into shooting, he's like, could I ask you a question? I said, yeah, go ahead. He goes, it's not really about the work. I'm very happy with the work. I said, yeah, go ahead. He's like, did you pay for that lunch? And I was like, no, I thought you paid. And we realized our first meeting was a dine and dash. It felt very right.
Hey, you guys know I like to do this. Who's got the best last question? South by Southwest. Up there.
Does anybody have a question for Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on. This woman here's it.
I don't know, man. Yes, my exquisite vocabulary. My friend texted me and he told me to audition for it, and he said it was like a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I thought about it, and I went out for an audition and came in like 7 or 8 more times and finally got it.
Yeah, you can. Go, Paul.